Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm going to teach you today how to create a character walk cycle. After I did my first ever video on YouTube, you guys have been commenting and wanting to know how you do the positioning and keyframing to make a smooth walk cycle. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. We're going to use the same rig, so we've got this guy again. The only thing different is I didn't save the rig after I did it for the first tutorial. So I've had to re-rig him today, and I've used the new version of Duik, which is actually really good. So I've recorded a speed recording of the rig so you guys can see how it's done. But for now we're going to jump straight in. If I show you on the internet here quickly, there's a guy called Richard Williams who wrote the book The Animators Survival Kit, which is fantastic. I highly recommend looking this book up. Inside this book you'll find loads of tips on character animating and walk cycles and everything. It's a great resource to have if you're into getting characters on the go. But here we have a quick little sketch from Richard here, which has got the 5 main poses you need to do for a walk cycle. So you have your contact here, where the back leg is stretched out, front leg is forward. You have a down, where the weight is shifted from this knee where it bends and the foot bends to the floor, takes the weight, acting like a suspension, so your leg bends in, and then it propels up again for the passing position, where this leg then bends for the crossover. You have a final spring upwards with this toe pushing the weight upwards and this leg getting ready for the final contact. So we're going to go ahead and animate these positions in After Effects. So if we jump in, the best way to do it is if you hold shift and press 8, you put a little note. If you double click on it, you can then write contact. So this will be our first position. I'm just going to go forward 10 frames, put another note, and we'll call this pass pose. And then we have the second position, which is the second contact is what I'm trying to say, sorry. And then we have the second pass pose. If I zoom in a bit, we can see pass pose. And finally, this will be the same as the first contact, so we get a nice loop. So contact, we can even put final, I suppose. I cannot spell today. So final contact, if we hit N. So this is for both legs, so this would be where the legs are stretched out the back, next contact, and looping back around again. So if we break this down again after the contact, so if we go forward just like maybe 4 frames, we will have the down before it stretches up, and if we go forward another 4 frames roughly, this timing might not be quite right, you might have to play with it yourself. But then we have the up, comes to contact again, another 4 frames, speed that down, and then this is the final up. So these are all the positions we need to plot to make a nice smooth walk cycle. The first thing to begin with, the way I've rigged the character, is the hips control the height. I've got something going on here. Let me double check my rig. I built this quickly this morning, so it's probably not quite correct. The back hip is not connected. There we go. This is linked to the torso when it should be linked to my hips. Whoa. Press the wrong button in it. On there. So if I lock that and show my layers, There we go, that's better. So anyways, as I was saying, we start by doing the height of the body. If you look back on the reference, you'll notice the torso sort of goes down, up, a little bit further up, and then sort of down again. So because the legs will be far stretched out on the first contact, we're going to set this position as maybe our pass position, and this one we're just going to knock it down so slightly. And then if we go to, I'm going to forget the downs and the ups for now. We'll do the basic walk cycle to begin with, and then the downs and ups are what give it the next level and kind of fine tune the walk cycle. So we'll use, if you've got motion 2, if you hit clone here, you can copy 2 frames, and then the final contact, we'll just copy from the start. So now we've got this kind of up and down motion in our torso. So if we start with the front leg, we're going to stretch that to the back. Oh, actually, hang on. We need to draw in a floor with a ruler. And if we lock the ruler, so we can't grab it anymore. So this leg will be stretched backwards, and the leg front, leg back will be forward. Let's open up our keyframes quickly. If I hit U, I've already programmed in everything we're going to need here. It makes it easier so we can see. So the leg back, we're just going to bring this forward. And then if we go to, I've got these here as well for the shoes. So these are little controllers that we can bend the shoe. So we can get the, if we look at the reference, we get these bends in the foot. So we're going to do that. If we look at this contact, we've got the shoe up and this bent movement. So we're going to recreate that quickly. If we add a rotation in our leg, with the new version of Duik, it rotates our shoe, which is really nice. We're just going to bring this forward. So we've got this bent motion. And then with this, it's going to bend the shoe, something like that. Oh, okay. So I like that, but we could do with the torso being a little bit lower. So we're just going to bring that down. So then I can bring my shoe back, so we've still got this nice bend in our leg. So if we bring that down, we've now got this bend, slight bend in the leg, and we just need to adjust that so it's straight. And if we go back to the reference, this shoe is flicking up in the air because you contact with your heel first. So if we adjust the rotation, so we get this kind of contact motion like so. So now if we go forward to the pass position, what is going on here is this leg will be dragging to the center, and it will be flat with our ground. Just zoom in so we can see a bit better. Maybe our torso needs to be just up a tiny little bit so we get more of a straight leg, like so. So now we've got this leg straight, and this back leg will be passing over somewhat like this. If we refer back to the reference again, we're trying to build this kind of motion. So our foot would have a nice flick to the shoe. Let's just straighten up the shoe again quickly. We could even maybe put a cartoony flick on the end. So we have this. Now if we go back, we have this raise and bend motion. Maybe this can be brought a bit further forward. Now we'll get to the next contact where the back leg is going to be straight with the slight bend in the leg. Rotate it out. And on this layer we need this bent up like that. Ideally we would animate the hip position as well. Maybe we'll do that in a sec. So now we have the back leg like so, and the front leg would be making the contact. So we'll rotate up like this. Just straighten out our shoe so it contacts with the ground on the heel first. So now we've got our first leg crossover. We'll go to the next passing position, which will now be this leg straightened up. Put the rotation back to 0. It's getting a bit messy. Let's try and something like this. Obviously, as you can see, working with characters gets a bit fiddly. If you don't like how fiddly it is, then I'm afraid you're not going to get on with character animations, because the ones you see which are really good, the animators probably spent a good couple of days on it, which is no word of a lie. It does take a long time to get these motions really, really nice. Anyway, let's do the next passing position. So we'll have this leg folded up. We'll put a flick on the ankle. And we'll straighten out this shoe. Maybe have a flick. And finally, for the final contact, we can just going to quickly put positions in here for the shoe. We can actually copy, if you've got the motion script, you can select all these frames we've been working with, come to the final contact and click clone, which will complete our leg loop. This front pass position I'm not a fan of. I'm just going to quickly correct that. That seems a bit of a nicer shape. There we go. So now we have our legs crossing over. I believe I edited the torso slightly. So let's copy that pass position, paste it there. I believe I did the same with this contact, so we'll just maintain a nice consistent height throughout our character. So now if we hit render, we've got this torso bouncing up and down movement with our legs moving. Now we can start to look at the down position, which if we go back to here, this is when we get the flat foot and straight foot, more of a bend there and a bend here. So again, we'll start with the torso, we're just gonna move it even further down here. Come forward to the shoe. We're gonna rotate this down, make a contact with the floor. This is when the weight is taken, so that it's bent down, possibly going a bit too far down. Just gonna raise it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna delete that, start again. Got this nice kind of bend. That's cool. Now if we do the back leg, I'm going to straighten this one out. Sometimes if you use the arrow keys to nudge things, you get a little bit more control. So we have the weight being shifted between the legs before lifting up to the pass position. Now for the up, we have this kind of really stretched out leg. So this would be the back leg here. At the minute ours is all horribly bent, which is not very nice. So we're going to go to the torso, raise it up so we get this nice straight leg. Back leg, we're just going to slide this out a bit, move it up, rotate it so we get our shoe properly bending. Finally, we're just going to add a better bend and drop that down to the floor. So now we've got this final up propelling us through to the contact. And then here we'll just do the other leg. The front leg. This is when it has a real big jolt forward and the foot's almost flopping down towards the floor. So we'll rotate it down, straighten this one up before hitting the floor in a stomp. Now obviously, if I do a quick little look, my timings are a bit jittery and not quite right. If we turn off all of our controller layers, we should get a better idea of how this is looking. It's not so bad. As you can see, it's a bit slow, not ideal. I'm not going to worry about the timings now. This is what you guys need to play with when you do your walk cycles. Anyways, let's turn these handles back on and crack on. So now we're doing another down position here. So this will be where this foot takes the weight. We can probably copy the height from the down position earlier. And we'll address this leg. So this needs to be rotated out. This one straighten back up. The torso. This front leg looks like it wants to go. Move the position a little bit lower down so we can get a nicer bend in our leg. Slightly different in the rig, just not an issue. spring motion. And then we'll do the foot, which needs to look like this. Straight foot. So we'll straighten this foot out here. So we've got the bend on the down. That's looking pretty good. That's in position. And we'll do the final up pose here. Again, we'll copy from the previous up. Stretch this leg out. Rotate it up. Really push this heel up so we've got it like a tiptoe motion. Something like that. I don't want to spend too long on this because you guys are probably getting bored of this video already. And have that flop into the floor. So they're the main poses of the walk cycle. Let's just have a quick look how this is looking. So now we've got this kind of quite nice fluid movement. Seems like I've got a really big slide back here. That's because of this front leg. Bring that slightly forward, slightly down. So it's not slipping so much. Obviously my timing's not great. Yours will be better if you spend a lot longer on this than what I'm doing in the tutorial. I'm trying to keep it short. But overall, I think those legs are looking not so bad. We've got some nice torso movement. What we can do is maybe vary the spine, because we've got this neck position here. And the spine. So what we'll do is maybe on the downs, straight after the weight is shifted, we'll have a quick compression of the spine so the neck can come down. Same so with the spine. Sorry, we're going to do this a few frames after so we get this delayed effect. So this comes down, maybe the spine will push out and forward. If we select both of these, have it so his weight's been shifted forward, not forward, and then on the passing position we'll clone it back to how it was. That's a bit too extreme. As I said, with to get characters right, you have to spend a lot of time on them. So you could play with compression of the spine and stuff. I'm going to delete this and just try and keep it a bit more simple. So I'm just going to have a slight compression on the down. Which I'm still not sure about. Anyways, you guys can play with that in your own time. Get this kind of compression feel. It's somewhat adding a little bit of judder in his spine there, which is pretty cool. You could have it rotating and stuff, but I'm not going to go into that much detail at the minute. So now we'll address the arms, because at the minute they are not walking. So if we can maybe just turn the arm controllers on so we don't have to see all the other stuff. This is the other controller. I didn't name that one properly. Too late now. Anyway, so genuinely, if your front foot is at the back, your front arm wants to be at the front. So we will do this. We'll add maybe a flick of the wrist, and for the back layer we'll bring this to the back, straight back, and again a nice flick of the wrist. With the arms I tend to just animate the contact positions. I find you get a nice swing that way. Forward and have the wrist flicking up. And when it comes to final contact, copy these and clone them using Mirror. And we've got this somewhat nice movement on the rotations of the wrist. You can nudge them forward a few frames and you should get an offsetted motion, which looks like the weight's being flown through. Which is, overall, this is looking not so bad for how quick I've done the video. If I turn these off, you'll see the hands a bit nicer. Some artifacts going on weird in the arms. I suppose you could follow the example here and have the pass positions deadly straight, but they're not far off when you do just the contacts here. Overall I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, the timing here, if we watch this, it's not great. Maybe the 10 frames was too long. I didn't even check what my composition's running at actually. That's really rookie. 24 frames, okay, that's not so bad. But so he's almost doing the walk in 2 seconds, which is a slow walk to be honest. Playing with the timing's very crucial, and obviously I've got completely linear frames here. Could spend ages in your speed graph, so you get nice flicks between. I could do a quick example. If I jump into the speed graph, if you select the position frames, hit F9, you've got this sort of motion. So you can see you could have this going slower on the outs. This is the backhand, but as you can see we got more of a smooth motion. But I'm not going to play with all of that because you can spend hours doing that to get that look right. I just want to show you the keyframes of a walk cycle, which is the contact, the pass position, the other contact, and the ups and downs. And that's the basic walk cycle, and then you have to spend hours fine-tuning. You could go through and do some smoother work on the feet because they're not perfect at the minute. There's a bit of a sliding glide there where it's going up and stuff. But they should give you a pretty good idea of how to do a walk cycle and how to do all the keyframes and the main positioning. And I highly recommend checking out the Animators Survival Kit. It's a great resource, and if you speak to any motion designer, they probably have this book and they probably look at it a lot. If we click here, like shows you different examples of walk cycles you can go for. I'm assuming this is some sort of an angry stomp or something. But yeah, it's a great book. Definitely check it out. Let me know how the video went. This one might be quite long and boring because character work usually is. In general, I'm trying to keep the videos shorter, but this one needed a bit more explanation. So anyways, as always, I've been Matt Wilson. I hope you've liked the video today. If you have, maybe you could like and subscribe and share with your friends. That would be great. That's all for today, folks.